YouTube, what's going on? This is Shenole, and welcome to my channel. And before we go too far along things, let me apologize for the quality of this video. My laptop's a little bit on the older side, and so the webcam attached is as such. So anyway, as I say, welcome. And I'm a front-end web developer, and I've been doing this for 1 year. well, actually, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So let's do this. I'm going to give you a little background on me, and then I'll explain what the goal of this channel is. So, okay. So, like I said, I'm a front-end web developer. I've been doing this with focus for 1 year, but I've been actually building websites since 2001. How's that, you ask? Well, originally I was a professional musician, and pretty much my entire adult life. And around 2001, I started realizing the importance and the potential of having a website as a musician, for marketing, so on and so forth. And so I fortunately had a saxophone student. I was a professional saxophonist. Anyway, I had a saxophone student whose father was, and the term at that time was, a web designer, kind of all encompassing. But anyway, and I knew he had Dreamweaver. And the thing is, back then, the two primary ways that you could build a website if you weren't a professional was either Microsoft Front Page or Dreamweaver. And the thing is, though, that Dreamweaver was a professional's tool, and I knew that. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to get something, why don't I get the best? And so I said, hey, man, your dad has Dreamweaver, right? He's like, yeah. So I said, hey, you think you can get your dad to hook me up with a copy of Dreamweaver for free? And he said, oh, yeah, sure, So, and I said, yeah, maybe include a template I can mess with. He was like, all right, no problem. So then a couple days later, sure enough, he swung by where I was giving the lessons at, gave me the Dreamweaver copy, and he and his dad, they told me, hey, all you need to do to change the template, just mess with the graphical interface, do this. I was like, great. And he said, hey, and if you want to learn a little something, once you work on the graphical interface, maybe go into the HTML file and see what it changes. Okay, sure, thank you. So anyway, and I did that, and over time and trial and error, I actually started learning a little bit of HTML, but not CSS too much, because I did actually, out of curiosity, I'm kind of a curious person, I went into it and was messing around, but I saw how drastic the changes were, and I said, oh man, I don't have time to deal with this too much. And frankly, I didn't have time, because as a musician, to make a living, I had to be on the road a lot. I spent a lot of time driving, looking for gigs and this and that. So I really didn't have time to mess with CSS. So fast forward, 2012, I came up with an app idea. And my oldest brother's like, yeah, man, that's a cool idea. Hey, why don't you and I learn Ruby on Rails together and blah, 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 and we'll build it. And I was like, yeah. So we started learning Ruby on Rails, and, we started working towards the app, but we never finished it. And the reason it had nothing to do with, complication or anything like that. We both had the facility to learn. It boiled down to time. Like I said, I was on the road all the time, touring and stuff, and my oldest brother's a fireman paramedic, so he's always on calls, and even with GitHub and Skype and just other remote tools you can use, our schedules were too chaotic. So fast forward again, 2013. I was like, hey, I had a lot of fun with that Ruby on Rails stuff. Why don't I start learning some Java, and maybe over time I can build an Android app, try to finish that app idea I had. So, and I started getting pretty decent at it, but then I got hired by a organization that had an art school. They made me the director of it. So I was running an art school, and I did not have time to put towards developing anything. So finally, I moved from New York to here in Florida, and in moving down here, I had realized that I can't do music anymore. And it boils down to two things. One is I kind of have a bad back, and that bad back. I mean, it doesn't really affect me for things like sitting down and like if I'm coding or whatever. So if I had like an office job, no problem. But if you're talking about doing a energetic performance on stage with a heavy metal instrument around your neck for a few hours, that's a problem. The other thing is that my daughter, she's too young to leave at home alone, but old enough that she kind of needs me. So I was like, well, what can I do? And then one night it came to me, why don't I build websites? And so I figured, well, I tried that back end stuff. Let me see what this front end thing is. And man, I got hooked. So anyway, and here I sit. So that's my background essentially, and let me quickly tell you what the goal is for this channel. Basically, I'm just looking for a platform to share information. So I will share what I've learned over time with you, and I hopefully will be grabbing and pulling some stuff from you. And I'll be posting maybe some tutorials here or there, or thoughts on coding and just stuff like that. So anyway, so I hope you'll come back and join me again for another episode of So really, hope you come back. Make sure you click that subscribe button, and maybe give me a thumbs up, because I have a good smile. Anyway, so hope I entertained you a little bit. Hope you find coding interesting. Let's get on the journey together. And with that, I'll say I will catch you later.